Alrighty, here we go. Loading in. So it looks like Discord's not working right now. So we have that. But the rest of the internet is working. And whenever Discord decides to be functional, this should be okay. Let's see here. Okay, and the mic is set correctly. If anyone has trouble hearing me, feel free to let me know. And we're getting scanned by a Stargoid, which is always just a little bit freaky. Let's pop in the galaxy map. Alright, yeah. Plot our route here. Okay. Yeah, so I got tired of switching audio devices, so I opted to actually go ahead and take the headphones off of my Oculus Rift and just wear my nice ones instead. Hopefully that'll just make it a little bit more convenient. Alright, we got 10 jumps. We gotta go and basically, oh man. Our jump point's underneath the planet, so first thing we'll have to do, as usual, is we always got to get 5 kilometers away from the surface, so we're not math blocked. Go ahead and take our landing gear up. Alright, we'll go to our escape vector. Make sure we're throttled up.
4, 3, 2, 1, engage.
Okay, now that we're properly in game, let's go ahead and switch. Okay. So yeah, we're gonna go trade all the encoded data. That way we have room to continue to collect data on the bug killer. So I'm in my Corvette. I decided that I was going to be stubborn and fly a couple thousand light years yesterday in my Corvette instead of bothering to switch over to my Anaconda. And I don't really regret it because I got to be in my Corvette this whole time. I will say when it's time to unlock Professor Palin, I'll probably switch over to my Anaconda. All right, let's look down, charge up, and go on a trip. Try opening Discord again, see if it figures itself out. Refuel. So yeah, Star Citizen just finished their announcements for the Hammerhead ship. Looks like it's increased in size and on-ship amenities. Didn't hear anything about the med bay question. That's probably one of the things that I was most interested in. But it does look like all of the turrets will be playable on release when it comes out in October for CitizenCon. So I'm pretty excited to have a bunch of super friends and a bunch of you folks popping in to see if we can destroy things effectively with that new ship. Little disappointed that OCS got moved to a 3.3.5 patch, but actually for me it was mostly I'd love to explore another planet. Getting access to Hurston would be really cool. But as long as they still have the FPS battles and the Hammerhead in there, I think it's going to have enough extra content for me and my wife and the rest of the Super Friends crew to really enjoy some more co-op experiences in the game. So I'll be pretty happy. But if you were on stream last night, you probably noticed that I can get hours of entertainment out of very, very little content at the time. Both difficult and very easy to please. I think particularly once they have native support for VR and Star Citizen, I'll be able to spend just days dicking around in a single ship. Maybe they'll let us do mods, like they can have we can do like Cards Against Humanity on the mess table inside the Hammerhead. Then I'd be okay with the fact that they added an extra floor just to support having a dining area. It's weird. It's jumping. But yeah, so we're going over to the data trader. We're going to go ahead and take all of our high level data and anything that we're maxed out on and trade it down to all the other data types. And then I should probably look at my raw materials, but I'm pretty sure I have almost no raw materials. I've kind of tapped myself out on it. I never really stuck around the crash sites for very long before. I did, like, you know, maybe 5 or 6 rounds. Since I'm not really in a hurry to get anywhere in particular anymore, I think I'm gonna kind of play a little bit more laid back and deal with the Crash Anaconda for long enough that I can max out my data and at least most of my raw, like the raw materials is really where I've struggled the most in this game to catch up. Usually I find I'm lacking in them, so even when I unlock an engineer, I don't have enough materials for them. Alright, looks like Discord is back up, popping in the live chill gaming channel. Okay. So let's see if that notifier actually works. That would be a pleasant surprise. Oh, looks like no. Let's go. This music is both terrible and wonderful. Okay. The moment here. Engineer resources. I don't know how well it deals with tags inside brackets. Here we go. The only way I would ever tweet is when it's embedded into something else. Trying to get better about Twitter. It's just so hard. Okay. Here we go. But yeah, if you're watching and you have any questions about Elite Dangerous or any of the other games I play, please feel free to chime in the chat. I can see it up here in corner of my ship. I kind of wish there were like blank screen panels that I could align my my virtual panel to. I always, especially when I was doing trade missions, I always wish there was a way that I could like pop in a screen that like looked like it was part of the ship. I guess there is a screen. I think it was the Type 7. Like had a screen right over there. That would be really hilarious. Now that we have the ability to pop in a virtual desktop right over the top of it in the same spot, and then like play Netflix there. That'd be pretty cool. That was kind of the dream back in the day when I did still do those kind of missions. But I guess if I'm gonna brave exploration, maybe it's time to consider a little bit of Netflixing while I fly. But there we go. Got a couple of jumps left. I wish there was a way to better visually tell whether or not a sun was fuel scoopable. So many times I come up on an orange sun and you just like assume you're gonna be able to fuel scoop on any orange sun, but sometimes like just then, it doesn't work. Oh. It starts getting real scary when you start getting low on fuel, because if I run out of fuel, I'm talking two options, right? I've got call the fuel rats or explode my ship and pay the 22 million rebuy cost. Both options are quite shameful. Okay. Okay, gotta stay here long enough to fully fuel up.
Fuel scooping complete.
Okay, and jumping. Just a couple more jumps. We can trade out this data. Yeah, 3 jumps. Yeah, and when you're traveling, the better fuel scoop you can get, the better off you are. I know they get really expensive, but trust me, it's worth it. I'm gonna pick up the 7A next time I get a chance. Even though it's 80 million, it's just like, you don't have to hang around the sun very long at that point. When you're doing a lot of jumps, every second you can cut off the sequence helps. Alright, that's a big no-go on fuel scooping from this sun. I usually wait till I'm in the 40s to jump if I don't see the sun on my radar. I do find it odd that suns haven't been showing on my radar lately. It's kind of hit or miss. There we go. This last jump is nuclearing, so we're good there. And yep, got a little hot. Yeah, Kyoto slash Unwillingful let me know about there's a bug right now where apparently if you're playing with multiple people, the more people that you're playing with, the more overheat damage will affect your module. So I think it's a regression of a previous bug that had been squashed. So just keep in mind that currently in instances where there's multiple people, I guess you could use it to your advantage and say that heat tactics are going to be significantly more effective than they will in the future. Let's see here. I believe Bean Station is where we need to go. I hope everyone's having a good Friday. Keeping happy and good. Doing all the things, you know. I know, I had a rough morning. Kids have late start on Fridays, so after meetings I came in to find that everyone was fighting, but we got them all to school, even though they missed the bus. It's fun times. Alright, so Bean Station is 41,000 light seconds away. That's terrible. It's gonna be a while. I guess better do all the trading that we want to do now. So last time I was here, or rather, last time I was streaming Elite Dangerous yesterday, we were at the bug killer, and every time we scanned, we were full on everything that we could have collected. So that's why we're going to switch out the encoded data. Let's see here. Yeah, it's gonna be a while before we get there. Let's pull things up here. I tried the Muxy bot, and apparently it didn't create notifications automatically, which is unfortunate. But I will tweak that shortly. Make sure everything's running here. There we go. Alright, Beam Station. It's gonna take forever to get to you. Alright, we're down to 34,000 light seconds. 4 minutes. Countdown is wildly inaccurate, as always. I guess the countdown just shows how long it would take if I immediately slowed down and just stayed at like 180 times the speed of light. That's what we're traveling right now. So I don't really know how to precisely stop accelerating without decelerating though. At least not in the hyperdrive mode. Yeah, and I've got 4 scarabs. Just because I assumed I was going to be doing dumb stuff and probably blowing up my little guys. And rather than wasting all my raw materials on trying to refuel and recover those scarabs, I'd rather save those materials since the entire intent is to collect more of them. Also, it didn't really make a significant impact to go with a hanger that gave me 4 scarabs versus going with 2 if I was already taking a Corvette all the way to the bug killer. But, you know, figured I might as well. Maybe when I get bored of the regular play, I can try my hand at collecting some actual materials. I know at the bug killer there's also a crashed SRV, which is kind of cool. So, if I get bored there, whew, excuse me, I could always hop over to the crashed SRV. I should probably check and make sure that this is actually saying I'm playing the correct game. There we go. Looks good. Yeah, I always used to play with the DK2 this way. I had the headset on and just you get a lot better sound for sure, and I assume that the microphone performs a little bit better too. Hopefully changing it in the Oculus home settings will allow other games to natively support it without issue. My only concern is, even though this is really long cord, it is nice to have only one cable coming out of my head. So for room scale type games, I assume that it's going to be more inconvenient to have switched to this. It's probably why Unwilling Full uses a wireless headset, but I do not currently. Having another wireless thing is just another unneeded variable in my opinion. Alright. 10, 9, 8, 7. Kicking back on the throttle. Keeping the blue. I like to keep it on the tail end of the blue. I still feel like I'm going too fast. Let's see here. Okay. if we can luck out on positioning ourselves. Usually the mail slot faces the planet that the station's orbiting. So the reason I kind of went in closer to pointing towards the planet is so that I can position myself just right. Okay, cool. There you go. Saved myself a little bit of effort on lining up. Alright, here we go.
Be aware, weapon fire restrictions are in place in this sector. Landing permission granted. Clear to land on pad 10.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I've been to Bean Station before. Okay. Going in. As usual, a little hot, but you know. What's the point of landing at a regular speed? There we go.
Landing complete. Ship secured.
You guys probably noticed that I only play Elite Dangerous in Oculus. And the fact is, I don't even know how to play this in Pancake anymore. I played it Pancake for like 6 months at the beginning, and everything I've purchased to make myself able to play in VR has basically been because this game, for me at least, was a lot harder in Pancake mode. The ability to intuitively look at panels and control them all using my my throttle and joystick is something that makes a huge difference for me in this game. Alright, let's see here. Alright, 1 second. I need to move this chat panel. It's kind of right in the way. Okay, so I've got abnormal compact transmissions, unexpected data transmissions. Let's go ahead. We need a lot of this shit. Sure, let's go. Okay, let's do... Okay. So what we're doing here is trading up our higher level stuff for lower level stuff. Things that are on the same row here are going to cost less to do that, right? Alright, go ahead and grab that. Trading up can be quite costly. That's one would guess. Alright, atypical, encryption archives, open symmetric, we got alright. Well, at least we should have plenty of data by the end of this. Okay. Alright, and then we've got, yeah, I think it's the aberrant shield pattern analysis. We kept on getting a fair number of those. Seems like a lot of this crap. Let's see here. But we don't have a ton of this stuff. Alright, so maybe we can take some aberrant. Okay. Strange wake solutions. Alright, there we go. Alright, let's see what else. Specialized legacy firmware, that's needed sometimes, but I don't. Let's see here. Okay, anomalous bulk scan data, classified scan data banks. Alright, let's see here. Basically my tier 4 and 5 materials, if I trade them all down, then I go back down there, I end up getting those materials built back up. The stuff that I've got a lot of, it's because that's the kind of things that I can get from those. Okay, classified scan data bank. Let's see. Cracked industrial firmware is pretty helpful. Let's see here. Security firmware patch. Okay, almost FSD, inconsistent shield, unit typical shield stands. It seems like, I think we might be capped out on that, so we might want to kind of bring ourselves a little more in line. Okay, master keys, security firmware patch. Should probably do. Which one's the one we got? Shit tons of. That may not be the best trade there. Alright, yeah. Basically, I don't want anything that's too high, because then we're kind of wasting a lot of the effort that we could be getting. Alright, so. modified consumer firmware. Okay. Yeah, sure, I'll get some data wake mines. Oh wow. 36 of them. I'm pretty sure we get decoded emission data. I'll do one of those. Sure. Alright. Alright, well, we're not full on anything other than maybe some of the base level stuff. Classified scan fragment. Okay. Tier 5 data is kind of nuts. Alright, let's... Time to go back to the crash. Bug killer, crashed Anaconda, plotting a route. Here we go.
Landing coupler disengaged. Clear for departure.
Alright, retracting landing gear, getting out of here. Before I commit to going back to the bug killer, I'm going to look and see if I have a ton of any raw materials. I don't think I do though. Okay, so inventory, materials. Galvanizing alloys, I'm full on. Focus crystals, those are all manufactured though. So like iron, lead, manganese, mercury, niobium, phosphorus, lithium, selenium, I'm 0. I've got a lot of stuff that I could trade for manufactured, so I should do that next time before I go out and kill my pirates. Good. Tin, tungsten. Yeah, I have 0 risk of running out of space for raw materials. That's where I always struggle though, because I don't mine. And historically I haven't really hung around the crash sites for very long, so I usually just get whatever I need and then wish I had more later. How's all your morning going? Hopefully you're doing well. I know I am very tired from staying up pretty late testing video games, but then waking up pretty early testing regular software. It's been one of those weeks. It's actually getting a little toasty in the office. Alright, let's see here.
Frameshift drive charging.
Just 8 more jumps. Space, 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 space.
Fuel scooping. Fuel scooping complete.
Yeah, I find most ships easiest to maneuver when you combine a roll and yaw. Seems the best way, even when you're in frame shift drive, to maneuver your ship. So, particularly important when you have slower vessels like the Corvette, but you still need to keep beat on enemies, or not crash into suns with. Fuel scooping.
Fuel scoop disengaged.
Friendship drive charging.
Fuel scooping.
There we go. And onward.
Fuel scooping complete.
5 jumps to go.
Frameshift drive.
And then we can see if I can manage to land as close as I did last time with the Corvette. That's better than the Anaconda that you can find that's crashed inside a ravine. I tried to land there with another Anaconda, and it was unfortunate because I was being shown where to go by a friend that we were both trying to land Anacondas in the ravine next to a crashed Anaconda, and there's a reason the Anaconda crashed. There's nowhere for anything to land safely down there. So, kind of like when I went to my first Guardian structure with an Anaconda, and I ended up having to go like 2 or 3 kilometers away and then drive my freaking SRV all the way there. I mean, it was an adventure, but then discovering all the Guardian Sentinels after you've already taken like 40% damage to your SRV's hull, that's a little bit disappointing. It made it scarier though, because I knew that I would have to take an SRV another 4 kilometers up the side of the hill if I did die to the Guardian Sentinels. So. Oh man. Okay. 4 jumps. Oh fuck. Shit. Damn. Oh, okay. I was looking at another window. This is why I can't explore. I'm far too distractible for things that require large amounts of time, mostly unattended. Put me in combat, keep me busy, you know, as long as I feel challenged, right? Of course, the further I engineer my ship, the less challenging combat becomes. That if you've watched any of my previous streams, you see that as you've got the Corvette getting more and more powerful, PvE is starting to slowly become fairly easy. Which potentially I could kit out this ship to be a bug killer later down the line once I've unlocked all the Guardian stuff. I still kind of like the bugs though. I don't know that I want to kill them. Also, they're slightly terrifying, you know. I'm kind of in the camp of maybe the Guardians are the real bad guys, because Guardians always attack you immediately, and I don't know, the Thargoids seem pretty nice. They apparently, even with the SRV on planet, you can shoot them and they don't give a fuck. So it seems strange that that they would be the bad guys. Of course, I haven't played the kind of other Elite Dangerous games, so it'd be interesting to play those if I could get them running on this machine and kind of get a little bit of better background on the lore of the game. I think I may play Wing Commander as well, just so that I can do the same for Star Citizen. I'm a pretty huge space game nerd, so anything to do with outer space, I'm usually fairly into it. If the focus is not on the space part, though, I kind of sometimes am not as interested. I've been watching Bud play Everspace. It looks interesting. It's a little arcadey for me. I'm kind of tempted to keep practicing in Star Citizen's equivalent mode. What I like about the swarm modes in Star Citizen, at least, is that I could play with my friends. I think even if they had some kind of simple play with your friends mode in Everspace, I would have bought it immediately. You know, any chance I can get to play with other people, I try and take it on. I think Skyrim right now is the only single player game that I'm really playing actively, and it's just so beautiful in VR to play Skyrim though, and there's so many mods you can dick around with it to your heart's content, which, you know, I love breaking things, so that's fun. But Yeah, I don't think I've even explored all of the content in the patches, like the add-on to Skyrim. Anyways, so it'd be neat to actually make my way all the way through the game without getting so distracted that I forget what I'm doing. It's one of the pitfalls of huge open world. Same thing happens to me in Elite Dangerous, right? Forever I wanted the Corvette, and I kept on getting distracted by other things I could get. So the Corvette became the Fer de Lance, was the next thing I could afford, and then spent more money on the Fer de Lance than what really would have been needed to have the Corvette a lot earlier. But of course I didn't know a good way to grind reputation until I started playing with a large group of people in the Super Friends, and we really pulled our minds and our ability to Google search together and found out that you could go to Ceos and Sothis. That's CEOS and SOTHIS, and there's this, basically you can do a loop of just boom data delivery missions and drive your rank up much faster than any way I'd ever done before. I'd always kind of stayed away from the data delivery missions after the beginning. I never really realized their potential for ranking. And I had been trying to get all my military ranks through exclusively combat missions, which, as far as I can tell, is the least efficient way to do it. So don't do that. It was not smart. It was fun though. And I missed out on, I had discovered one of the ways of making money early on, which was apparently you could take combat missions and stack them infinitely. I didn't realize it was going to get nerfed though, so I decided to join a faction in game and try out the power play crap. And by the time I escaped from that trap and came back to Britamino, the ability to earn funds that way had been completely nerfed. So now you have to properly kill one target at a time for each quest, which cuts down. I think the most you can make in an hour that way now is around 15 to 20 million. Maybe 25, but not much more than that, reasonably. And so, still, I mean, for someone who really prefers combat, I find it to be a better way to slowly earn credits, and as long as I don't blow up, it outpaces the costs that I can accrue. You know, as I build up, maybe I can start doing bug killing, but I still haven't found bug killing to be profitable enough to outweigh the extreme risk that you face by attacking bugs. And for those who aren't aware, that bugs is the colloquialism used to refer to Thargoids. Alright, so we're on approach down to the bug killer. And so yes, the bug killer was, I think it's a ship from one of the previous games that is a specific ship to kill Thargoids. Things didn't end well for it, as you might have guessed, by the fact that it's scattered over this planet. Alright, 2 clicks out. Okay. Pulling out the landing gear. Going down. Okay, there we go. We got blue. Alignment okay. Yeah. I got it right away. No crash for you, Professor of Death. It's almost like I'm sucking less the more I play these games. It's gonna ruin everyone else's experience watching me, I'm sorry. I'll just have to do harder things so I blow it more often. What you been up to, Professor of Death? Anything cool? You gonna play with us this weekend? I know you've had a shit week. Or at least a busy week. I guess I shouldn't assume it was shitty. Just usually, when people are too busy to play games, when they're in our group, they're not having the best time of their lives. Sounds like what? The audio decoder is busted? Now let me check my audio settings for you then. I did switch to using my mic. Alright, default speakers, default microphone. Is my thing still going? Handbrake. Come on, handbrake. There you go, handbrake. Alright, I got my skull candy. And my skull candy. And I mean, I kind of hear myself. It looks like it's doing what it should. Let's see. It's all the way at 100%. Maybe if I take it down to 90% and then post boost it, I'll be better. Push it down. Okay. Yeah, part of the reason I'm wearing the headset is to hopefully help with the audio troubles. But let me know if that helps. If not, I'll try and tweak it again. Okay. Let's see here. See if we can actually collect data here. Alright. Collected encoded atypical and collected modified consumer. And you hear the distortion. No, like I can't hear distortion, so it's maybe maybe if I try and listen to my stream I can see what you're talking about. Ah. Okay, let's see here. Killing audio for a bit. Alright, alright. Okay, let's see here. Chilling audio for a bit. Oh, I see. It's like once I hit a certain threshold of volume, maybe it's too high here. Hello. Okay. Oh, and this volume's way too high. Okay. Alright, I tried adjusting the audio. Yeah, like turn down my mic a little bit, but then also turn down my ambient music volume. Let's see if that works. Okay, it'll work right now. Everyone's doing their own thing. Yeah, I'm like, yeah, it sounded like when my volume got too high that I was like hitting the limit. That's my best guess. So I tried to decrease the volume of my other stuff so that you can still hear me at a lower volume on my mic. Yeah, I guess it depends on the work you do. Like I know, like when I was doing full-time development in an office, I actually found I did better if I had like Star Trek episodes playing, because it kept me from wandering around. Like keeping anything that could keep me at the desk, right? It usually worked. Of course, sometimes I found that the only way I could solve a problem was to go on a walk too. Let's see here. Crap, phone and oh, that hefts. Let's see here. I'm gonna either that's a nope that doesn't help, or oh, that helps. Can't be entirely certain. Hopefully the audio is a little bit better. And whenever you're done on the phone, I'll be here. Unless it's like a multi-hour call, then I can't guarantee it. I will have to stand up eventually again. Disappointingly. Alright. Definitely getting a little bit better at maneuvering in this little dune buggy. I still don't want to be able to walk out of it though. Oh, it hasn't helped at all. What do you use to read the Twitch comments in VR? It's so Oculus Beta, like it allows me to pull out windows of my desktop and arrange them in VR. Let's see here. Let's see here. Microphone mono, audio preview, consistent. Yeah, I feel like I need to pick up a better headset either way. So is it just when I get really loud that it warps out? Because that's what it sounded like when I was talking earlier. Test it. Let's see here. Maybe if I switch out the music type as well. Yeah, I think what would be nice would be like if they had a high quality wireless one that also had really good battery life. My concern about there's two concerns I have about wireless headsets. One is that you end up getting quality issues on both the recording and the playback. Yeah, so let's see here. Now, let me change the music type, because this music does have like fake distortion sounds. so it probably doesn't help to isolate it. Oh, of course, most of the music I like kind of does have that feel, but we'll do some EDM. EDM's fairly similar, but not quite as distorted sounding. It happens when I'm talking quieter too. Maybe the bitrate on my output for audio is not quite where it needs to be. Let's see here. I can check and make sure this is plugged in proper too. Yeah, the problem I have is this little thing here. Sometimes it'll, if it's resting on my leg, it'll mute itself as well, and I won't know because I hear everyone. That's no fun. I wonder what would happen if I decided to go into open play with myself at the bug killer. I'm like, how many people are at the bug killer on a regular basis? Like, does everyone just fight here? I mean... The game is so balanced for single play mode. I'm just curious, like, what kind of people play open play all the time? I mean, the moment I discovered that you could avoid waiting in line to dock places by going into solo or private group, that was basically it for me. What really breaks the immersion is the screen door and pixel density. Oh, yeah, I don't really get too much of the screen door effect, personally. A little bit, but I guess I VR so much that I've kind of gotten used to it. I don't know, I know they had one come out recently that was specifically focused around limiting the screen door effect, but it basically had to render twice as much, right? Just to kind of have things further away. I guess I played on the DK2 as well. Yeah, and I'm at the like not necessarily changing out the Oculus. I just pulled the mic and headphones off of it so that I could wear these headphones over top. Mainly because I keep on having to go through and dick around with my audio settings, and sometimes I'll forget. And so the microphone will be over on my Oculus, way over there. And no one can hear me, and I don't even realize it. Yeah, the lenses, I do miss having lenses in the DK2 that I could adjust so I didn't need to wear my glasses. That was the most disappointing thing to me about the CV1 after I'd had a DK2. Because I had lenses in the DK2 that I had adjusted so that I never had to wear glasses. Oh, as in, like, you can plug the audio in to a Vive? I didn't realize that. That's kind of cool. So you can just have whatever headset you want. Man, I feel like the other one had more crap you could collect. I'm not as concerned about the comm data here. seems like there's only 2 crates of raw material. That's 1. Then there's another one that's better for data as well. There's one where you can park and you can scan 4 data points all from the same spot. This only says 3. Oh, I mean, I use the Steam VR settings and it breaks stuff too. Why is my mic doing crazy stuff? Alright, let me pull it off and see. Hey, how you doing, Fluffy? Word. Alright, let's see here. Sound settings. Maybe. I'm not sure. Let me turn down the music a little bit more. Turn myself up. Alright, let's see. Let's do a little bit of tweaking to the settings. At least this way, now that I'm no longer using the built-in mics, once we get it honed in, I can just stop dicking around with it. Okay. I may just have had the audio a little bit too high for the other stuff. Okay, go into solo mode. I'll probably have to rebalance it when we do another talk show tonight, though, of course. Oh, Unwillingful and Professor of Death are having a hard time with my audio feed. I'm not sure what's causing it, though. It's kind of hard to track down. It may actually be unrelated to the audio settings that I have on local and more to my stream audio settings. But I haven't changed those and they seem to be working okay. Let's see here. So, it's probably something else I have jacked up. Am I singing? I'm always singing. But only in my heart. Stop the music? Alright, I'll stop the music. Stop it! Okay. Now we have a quiet, boring stream of sadness. And I bet you my voice is still gonna go nuts. Disable the input source? Okay, let's see. Fluffy's like, turned down for what? I think I almost accidentally tested whether or not I can piss off the Thargoid by shooting it. That would have been a funny way to test it. I decided I was going to click my mouse button. Alright, let's see. Oh man, but it's so quiet and eerie. Yeah, I don't think the music's the problem. Now the music didn't seem like it was having issues, right? So it's specifically my voice. Am I sounding like generally fairly loud? Because I could turn down the boost I think I do have it running at like 200%. Yeah, I'll turn the music back on. Okay, and then let's go ahead and turn down my excessive boost myself. I can turn down the volume on the other sources. But we'll get it eventually. Okay. Who knows? I mean, it's all the way out here. If I mean, it is boosted 200%, but I haven't changed anything, so it's just odd. Let's see here. I tweaked it a little bit. The pressure of my talking. So I'm even making my microphone uncomfortable. Here. I think honestly, if I'm gonna be streaming all the time, I probably need to get a little bit better of a headset anyway. Just because, generally speaking, this thing is super old. Yeah, no, I did a bunch of work on the frame rate. That's been going fine. Is the sound a little bit better, or is it just me tweaking settings that affect nothing? The sharpness? I don't have a sharpness setting. I'm doing this in XSplit, remember? Since I got the frame rate working in XSplit, I have not tried OBS again. I know you sent out that they did some bug fixes, but I don't have my my full stream setup working in OBS yet. I've done a lot of work in the other one. When I push words like P. Here, give me a second. Let me see. Here, I have a fancy microphone beard. Let's put the microphone beard on. It's definitely not designed for this microphone though, so it may be worse. But I'll say P words like pizza, potatoes, Penang. I'm pretty sure Penang is a type of curry. Let's see here. Yes, Penang curry, delicious. Still doing it even with my microphone beard? That's not cool. Let's see here. I think I could totally change the source of the microphone to use the Oculus still. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'll do Rift is my input. Okay. Say input device Rift. Which completely defeats the purpose of having taken this off. Also, I guess I don't need the microphone beard anymore. Okay, cool. So switching it to the Rift mic. So there is just something straight up wrong with my headset. That's what we're determining here. My headset be broke dick. Unfortunate, but it has lasted like 4 years, so it's still doing it? Come on. No. Well, if it's still doing it after fully changing the device, it's got to be something in my stream settings. Let's see. I go into my broadcast settings. I'll look at. Why is this always set the wrong mask keyframe?
Is it? It's not still doing it. Well, you know, Fluffy can be high if she wants to be high, okay? he's like, don't make him break it. Let's see. I do like how Amelie pulls immediately. No, don't break it again. Okay. Now let's see if I can actually manage to collect a couple things now that our audio is somewhat working. Man, that means I gotta go get a headset today. Is that a robot face or a troll face? I haven't figured out how to do the troll face. I think we ran out of... There's only like 2 here. Hey, Kyoto. Just don't buy razor garbage? Okay. I like Skull Candy personally. Even though this is a Skull Candy, it's a really old one. So, and I honestly think that when I was trying to do all the cable routing, I ended up stretching the cable to the point where I heard some snappity snap. Yeah, 3 cargo racks, 3 scan points. Is there a place that has more cargo racks though? I thought the one in the ravine had 5 cargo racks, right? But what do you recommend, Unwillingful? Ideally, I'd like something wireless that doesn't degrade really badly over time, or it gives me a little bit of distance in my play area, or something really high quality wired. You smoke too soon? Oh yeah, he missed the entire process of us debugging it. That's my guess. So he smoked too soon, or he spoke too soon. One of those two. Of course, they're very different things. Okay, cargo rack. And so this is all high grade material, which means it's worth like 36 of the smaller ones. Oh, so these are all tier 5 materials? Oh wow, why am I still going up? Ah! Okay. I'm gonna stick with smoke too soon, Professor. I feel like smoke too soon is a lot more entertaining. I smoked too soon! It's not 420 yet! Oh, yeah. Grade 4 is grade 5 for raw materials. I could have sworn that one in the ravine had grade 3 and grade 2. But, or no, grade 3 and 4, and there were 2 per, and there were 5 of them as I recall, or maybe it was 3 that dropped one of each kind. Whoa! Let's drive on the side of this thing. Oh, that is Some braggy dash. Earbuds? Fuck earbuds. Earbuds are the worst. I need, especially with the winter coming, I need something over my ears so that it's warm. Like, honestly, you guys are gonna see me playing games in here soon, like while my office is warming up. I will have like 3 jackets on, 3 pants on, I'll have my military boots with like wool socks, and I'll have a beanie on, and I'll still be playing video games. So, these basically serve as earmuffs in here all winter long. I don't know. So, he does have a lot of people talking in his chat most of the time, so I wouldn't take it too personal to hear. Or maybe you have a severely differing opinion from him on something. Oh, come on. It's gonna make me wait because there's a Thargoid somewhere. Oh, how do you like the panels I added to the bottom of the Twitch? I think they're better than the one I had yesterday. Which doesn't take much, you know. High noon. Is it high noon? No. It's an hour past high noon, Fluffy. You missed it. Unless that's when you did it, and now you're just kind of like coming into or off of the high. At which point, good job. Lackluster. Needs more content? Okay. Well, I was gonna add the join link for the org in Star Citizen, and then did you find a way to like put stats for Elite Dangerous? I know they have like a semi API, but I thought it'd be really cool to have like something that updates a little bit more live with the stats for Elite Dangerous. That'd be pretty cool. You're not in Hawaii. I think I would know if you were in Hawaii, Fluffy. I don't know how I would know, but I would have an instinctive feel for that, you know, very critical knowledge. Man, okay, well, while this thing loads for the next 2 years, let's turn on the AC. And unplug this headphone. Ah. Alright. I think that makes it official. I need a wireless headset if I'm gonna wear it over here. Totally tripped on the cord. Oh. This is taking an unusual amount of time. What? I think it's just discord.gg. Oh, here, let's see here. Inara.cz. So do you like have to put in a plugin to yourself? I got a connection error. Lame. Alright, let's like put a plugin in and then it collects data? And actually, on Twitch, there's a link underneath. You can just click it. I know you're already part of the server, but it will direct you to Discord, Fluffy. Okay. Let's just go to the end here. One. Okay. There's some antimony just floating all the way up there. Oh, I think I might be accidentally all the way down there. Okay, what's that? Yeah, I'm in the live channel. Me? I'm not... I do need some data for... let's see here. There's this engineer here. I don't actually need this guy, but 50 units of classified databanks will unlock him. Ramta. I'm pretty sure what I actually need to do is unlock Celine Jean, because she's the first in the series to unlock the guy that gets me level 5 lasers, right? But you've heard my thoughts on, you know, mining. So I'm not sold on it quite yet. When I do try it next time, I will follow your recommendations so that I don't have a shit experience of it, because I'm pretty sure the reason that it was unpleasant before was specifically that I wasn't doing it in an efficient way. Basically, in all of the time that I've played and the many attempts that I've done, I've only managed to refine 5 tons of material. It's just like I am not engaged by the way that mining works at all. It just it does not speak to me.
One of the things I'm looking forward to in Star Citizen is being able to fly something that can mine and do its own refining.
Yeah, that's that big one, right? The giant
Orion
one.
mining station.
Yeah, that one's
like they say it's going to be as big as a station because it does its own refining.
Yeah.
And it takes 6 people to do the mining.
No, that one's gonna be intense. Now that I have the hammerhead, I'm interested in seeing how the multi-crew fighting plays out with it. I'm still interested in the Polaris, but basically, if the hammerhead is a much better kind of like local defense force, I don't know whether or not I'd be better off moving in a different direction than the Polaris for the other ship. I don't know that, like, okay, I do know that I wouldn't be interested in the big mining ship personally. I would totally participate in someone else's big mining ship, but like many years of history have shown that like I would underutilize a ship like that, so it's just not worth that kind of money to me. I was kind of surprised going through and looking at some information on the Endeavor, and I hadn't realized that the Endeavor actually has a whole smaller ship on the front that detaches that you can take down to explore planets and stuff. That's actually a pretty cool feature. But that one, they've blatantly said won't be available until after the release of the full game. So I'm not sure. I do know that it'll have like medical facilities and stuff. Have fun with Malik, unwillingful. Alright, Liz Ryder, 200 landmines, Paratani, Kamitra cigars, and then Brew Tarkin. Okay, so Liz Ryder is the one I need to unlock. Yeah, well, you know, sorry buddy. I talk about Elite Dangerous while I play Star Citizen. I am not a purist by any means. I do prefer space games, but I also play a very large variety of them. Also, I can only talk so much about collecting materials on a planet and then changing them into slightly different engineering materials. Which is what I'm doing currently. Oh man, let's see here. But yeah, so oh shit, I just want an open play. I guess we're gonna answer the question of how many people are in open play right now at this location. I feel like I may have lost my ship in the process though. Oh, my ship's still there. I'm in open play. Like a retard. Oh, you still there, Fluffy? Where'd you go? Feel like we lost you, Fluffy. Fluffy, are you there? Well, no one else is here. Of all of the people playing Elite Dangerous right now, theoretically, I'm the only one in this particular location. Either that or they instance it out so you don't end up fighting a bunch of people when you're down on the planet. I don't know how they handle that. Ah, computer lagging? That's serious lag if you can't even be in Discord. You're here-ish, okay. How about you, Professor? When do you finish up work? Oh, I'm lagging bad? Well, I was just on open play. Let's see if that's why. Because while you're in open play, you gotta get tons of information about all the players in your local system. Gotcha. Bad memory is bad. Are you overclocking it? Or is it, it's just that 1333 memory, right? Yeah, usually with memory, I find blue screen of death is the result, if that's bad. Alright, did that fix the frame drop issues that you guys were seeing? Me switching out of open play? I know open play's been having a lot of problems recently. Yeah, but she doesn't have a spinning disk. She's still got an SSD, I believe. So it'd be kind of weird for her to get slow down. Come on. Okay. Thanks for letting me know. Hopefully it'll clear up. Let's see here. Ah! So, Professor, are you gonna join us in Star Marine sometime soon? That way Benson can totally wreck you? Or are you actually good at first-person shooters, unlike myself? I think that's one of the big reasons that Star Citizen gets so much love and shit at the same time, because it includes the first-person shooter elements. So if you suck at it and don't enjoy playing them, then it's kind of obnoxious. Alright, awesome. It'll be fun to have you. You should probably watch some of the videos of Benson killing us so you can see these strategies he's using and hopefully come up with a counter for him. It is kind of ridiculous that we have an entire team trying to defeat one of our super friends and failing on occasion. I'd tell at you. I would absolutely tell at you, Fluffy. In fact, depending upon what game we play together, I'll totally tell at you either way. Yeah, I haven't had a... Is that a WoW command that you set to is like a /tell? I'm pretty sure that is. Alright, let's see here. Alright, I'm in private group, so I'm gonna go to solo. Yeah, well, I mean, if you want to get started on the Super Friends commercials, Fluffy, I've got that box in the garage, just waiting to ship out, so. Of course, if your hard drive's going bad, that's like the one thing that I don't have in that box, so. Woo! Okay. Well, that was not as far as I thought I was going to go. Oops. Alright, let's put everything in engine. Ah! Well, you are welcome to use any of the raw material components that we have put in our YouTube channels, Fluffy. And let us know if you need us to film anything else in particular, and we'll happily do so. I know that Truth Warrior has put together a bunch of the old, we'll call them historical archives. And then I think so. Truth had some. Key had a fair amount of some of the original stuff, but I think he lost a lot of his original videos. So, oh, I hear a noise. Is that a Fluffy?
It's a Fluffy.
Hey,
It
Fluffy.
kept kicking me in and out and in and out, and it likes to load this video that I watched 4 years ago. And so it
'Cause
keeps
it's pretty
constantly bringing that
important.
one up, and I'm like, no, I don't want that one.
It's pretty important that you remember that video that you liked 4 years ago, though.
There's a program called Algonon. It's kind of like a physics-based simulator. A lot of people use it to build marble runs.
Okay.
And so I saw this one guy, he built a circular marble lifting, which as it's lifting the marbles have their own little track in it, and I wanted to build it in Algonon, so I had to watch it to see how it works.
Gotcha. Did you
I
manage
never
to build
actually
it?
did
Oh,
it.
you didn't. So now it just mocks you by making you watch.
It mocks me, yeah. It's just there, and this was like 4 or 5 years ago, and so it's like I really should program and download it again.
Let's see here. Yeah, but you've lost your passion for that particular problem, and that's okay.
Other problems. And
Other
I do
problems
mean that
have
in many
replaced
senses.
that. There we go. Let's see here.
Where is the link to you guys' YouTube?
Let's see here. That one. Hopefully we can get followers on the YouTube. That way we can get to the point where we can give it a better channel name.
Is?
Let's see here.
Stations? No.
Let me see here. Got channel. Let me pop in the manager. I've been multi-streaming on both. Maybe if I I think this is potentially one of the better ways to do it.
So I got Kotos.
Kotos. Koto.
A little unwilling though.
Koto-san. It's Kyoto. Alright,
Rubber.
let's see here. Go. Boop.
The Super Friends channel, it's got 6 subscribers right now? 7?
There you go. Just the link. Legit. There you go. Alright, I think we gotta log out and back in. Ooh. Is that you? Jessica?
Yeah.
Sweet. Now you have 3 names to me. Thank you for the follow. I just tied I realized I could tie the YouTube to Streamlabs this morning while I was going through the other stuff. Yeah, we had someone asking how to donate last night. It was too bad that I didn't have it set up.
Of them go to your post office box.
But yeah, no,
Donate.
it's all set up. That's one of the big ways that we're looking to try and fund the Super Friends is since we have so many streamers in the group. It's a good way to get new folks in the group. Also, good way for us to engage with each other and hopefully earn enough to cover just a little bit of the cost of our hobbies. Oh, this is not. Come on. There you go. Mainly, it's nice that even if you guys can't necessarily play, I can still hang out with you guys. It's pretty cool. Oh wow, that's...
You hear me when I'm whispering to myself, right?
They're too new to streaming, apparently. Let's see here. Actually... Yeah, I had to add it to OBS for the for it to actually show when people subscribe. Or yeah, it's subscribe in YouTube, but it's follow on Twitch, and subscribe is completely different. And then there's I can't remember what the term is on YouTube, but it's the equivalent of paying a subscription on Twitch, but it's called something completely different between the two platforms. Which would be fine if they didn't also use the exact same terms as each other, but for different things. I think I'm gonna move the chat window instead of the right, like having it on my right hand side. If I turn while I'm trying to scan, it stops scanning. So I'm gonna take a number from Malik and put it up here. Let's see here. Yeah, so it's not YouTube Red. I think YouTube Red is like basically signing an exclusive agreement to be like kind of like you're a show on there. But there's a way to support streamers that you like, kind of like Patreon-esque, both in Twitch and in YouTube streaming. And you basically pay a monthly amount to the streamer of your choice to help fund their adventures and continuing to, you know, eat food while also full-time talking to, explaining, and demonstrating video games to you, so, or whatever they're streaming.
Is I can never have a constant conversation. I always lull after a while because I hate hearing myself talk. Nobody else talking back to me. I can't keep it up.
Yeah, but at least what we've kind of done here by creating our own streaming community for all the people who do stream in the Super Friends is now, even for those who have a little bit of hard time talking constantly, you have people to talk to, which helps. It's more engaging, in my opinion, than, especially if you're not really good at talking to yourself. And as my wife kind of backhanded complimented me, I am very good at talking to myself all the time. So she's like, "Oh, you're gonna do great with streaming because you never shut up." I'm like, "Well, thank you."
Your old have no problems whatsoever. That kid can just talk and talk and talk for hours, and he talks while he's gaming, and he's got all of the right reactions. He just doesn't want to actually do any of the work.
Who is this?
He's 9.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I have a 9-year-old too, and he really wants to be a streamer, but he's also a little bit young for what comes with that. So we did those original science videos together like 2 years ago when he wanted to be a YouTube star, and that was really my first pass at publicly publishing videos of myself. There's a concept of lurkers on Twitch. Alright, so yeah, it just depends what kind of show you want to be. Some people will just watch you playing, and I also think it really depends upon the pace and style of game that you're playing, right? Like, right now I'm doing something really repetitive, so if I wasn't talking at all, you could watch this for a couple minutes and you really basically got the fucking gist of it. I log out, I log back in, collect my booty, and then I'm good. But now, because of the fact that we're actually having a conversation, that helps. And yeah, the whole attractive thing, that's interesting as well. Seeing a human being sitting there playing makes people stick around more often. Yeah. My big, beautiful, bearded self. That's why you're all here. What the hell? Hello, it's Colo is hot. I'm like, why do you make me read that as if it's one word? That's kind of evil. Let's see here. halfway down on my fuel on this rover just from doing this one circle over and over. But at least I haven't run out of space for the materials yet, so that's nice. Like it's like
One of my main
you're
problems.
you're not only linking to her but dissing her at the same time. Apparently,
My problems is I'm kind of shy, and so like it's funny. I can talk. Think you're seeing my face. I get self-conscious
gotcha.
about the sound of my voice. Like, people have trouble determining whether I'm a girl or a guy or whatever, and it matters to some people.
Yeah.
But if they saw me, I would I don't know. It's anxious.
No, I totally get it. I've never really had a problem with talking constantly, except for that I've had a problem with talking constantly. Generally, most people want me to shut up, so this is kind of like therapy for everyone else. That way, you voluntarily come here to talk with me. But it's one of the reasons I get a lot of joy from hanging out with everyone every night, especially when I live in the middle of nowhere. It takes me like an hour and a half to get anywhere where I could hang out with people physically. And no one wants to come down here, even if they're only 40 or 50 minutes away, just because it's out in the middle of the boons, and all we could really do is play board games and D&D and go camping and do all that stuff. So folks come out every once in a while, but I can't really be happy unless I'm spending time with friends more often than every once in a while. Personally,
There's nothing wrong with D&D.
I love
Get a good
D&D.
little
Oh,
rolling
I would
dice.
love if I could convince folks to come over. It's just most people don't want to drive the distance, and I tend to be the one who has to do the driving, and that can get pretty frustrating.
Right.
Because like,
Who lived in Vacaville?
who?
45 minutes
I remember Vacaville.
away, and he's like, it's only 45 minutes, just drive down here and we could play. I'm all, or you could drive to me.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be
Minutes
nice
away.
to at least switch off, right? D&D is fun.
Yes, he's
I
saying
know.
it's only
It's
45
like
minutes.
I could watch her all day long struggle with the galaxy map. Ah.
It's
I
bad.
actually
I
have
yeah.
oh sorry, Professor, I have a like Uber level account in the, what is the other one? So there's Roll20, and there is another game Fantasy Grounds.
Fantasy Grounds.
So I have the one where everyone else can play without having to purchase it. So if the Super Friends,
Only you can GM.
yeah, only I could DM, but usually I DM, so it works out. But yeah,
Been playing a Savage Worlds game on Fantasy Grounds, and the GM for that found Wrath and Glory, which is Warhammer 40k role playing.
okay,
And so we talked to one of the developers of the Savage Worlds, because they have that they've been working on that space. They're trying to get any game that's available to play. So they have all the dice rolls and set up, and so you can type their specific die command to plus the extra die, and if there's like if you roll a 6 on a d6, the die explodes. You can roll another d6,
okay,
and if you get another 6, it can explode again. That's all in the die thing. So all I have to do is click once. It says you use this skill, and you're done. Like Professor's saying, Roll20 can do the same thing, but you have to do the programming versus they did the programming and you just join into it.
yeah. I don't know.
And he's saying only one person needs to be paid. It's the same thing with Fantasy Grounds. Only you need to have the ultra level. I can play for free.
Well, cool. My main thing is I already paid for Fantasy Grounds, so if I'm gonna run it, it'll probably be in that. But happy to join a campaign by someone else otherwise. What was that?
It's the Unreal Engine. They're going to have all of the stuff like you can dynamic lighting that Roll20 says they're. I think it's a race. Roll20 versus Fantasy Grounds. Whoever gets dynamic lighting first wins.
Why? It's a tabletop simulator. Why does it matter?
You can have the rest of the map hidden. We can't see it until our light gets there. So the dynamic lighting is on
so
each
the
character.
DM doesn't have to determine it. Simply by the characters moving there, it'll do it.
Fantasy Grounds does the rolls also, Professor.
Yeah.
Like I was saying, there's different game modules. D&D has its own. Savage Grounds has its own. I know there was a Star Wars one. It just depends on who does the first.
I set it up in Fantasy Grounds so that even leveling is automatic, and it'll just walk you through the process. Like, it's really simple to use. But I do 5e, and yeah, you just click a button, say you attack. We even like worked on making custom modules that had our own custom dice, because I got tired of the standard loot drop system, and so came up with a way of basically rolling the bones whenever you went to go loot, or if you said you wanted to look for stuff, that would help me kind of randomize what kind of loot and whether or not bad shit would happen.
Roll20 has the combat tracker, the loot tracker, and there's one more thing that Fantasy Grounds has that Roll20 doesn't.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm agnostic to which I would be willing to play on. I'm only specific about which one I would DM in, because I don't want to.
It's the one that you have the money for.
I don't want to purchase all those modules again somewhere else if I've got the same equivalent. But yeah, no, I ran a campaign for like 7 or 8 months, and then I made the mistake of introducing new players into the existing campaign, and it kind of killed it. What I should have done was wrap up the existing campaign before introducing new characters into the world, because it just kind of threw everything off, and we really haven't played since. Me and my wife and friends were really into Dungeons and Dragons for a long while. Alright, so we're in private group. Gonna go back to solo.
I have what I think's an interesting idea. It takes what you know of D&D and kind of throws it on its head. So it uses everything that you know about D&D, building you build your class, you choose what race bonuses you would normally have. So if you wanted to be a dwarf, then you would get those bonuses. If you want to be an elf, you get those bonuses. But
there are no cats in America. Go on.
Style race, not lizard men, just lizard folk. You've been held off of the land by your god. He protected your race because there was this big old war going on, and all your people know is the island that they live on, water, and for 400 something years they haven't been able to get off, but they don't need to. Everything's been provided for them. There's enough food, there's enough wood, there's enough everything they need to live. It's a big island. We're not talking like a little Hawaii, we're talking like Norway. Big. And then all of a sudden there was another earthquake, and now there's a land bridge. So for 400 years you haven't been connected to this land. Creatures were born, that's when the earthquake happened. 20 years later, they're like, well, you know, the prophecy said
Professor.
You guys were born, so there you go. Have to go out to the world and find out what's going on. And basically it comes down to the gods having this fight, and now it's, you know, your gods pulled your trump card saying, okay, you guys can continue to do that, but I'm introducing this new race. What you can do about that?
So what I did on the campaign that I was running was I had it started out like all medieval and everything, but then when they landed, I just kind of randomly decided that actually they survived longer than I expected, and they encountered, similar to what you're describing, these isolated places where they had like what kind of like a idealistic society that didn't believe in money, and it traded in good deeds, and it had more modern technology but was like separated by like special force fields. And just to go with the standard tropes that you encounter, it was an all-female society. So then the players started uncovering some of the oddities that came about from that. I kind of went with a lot of the old sci-fi tropes from the old school, like men are from Mars and women from Venus type space travel stuff. It made for pretty entertaining stuff. But basically, everyone had collected a shit ton of loot, but then they came to a place where no one cared how much gold you had, and the only way that you could get anywhere was by serving the township. But yeah, it was pretty entertaining. I don't really tend to get too much into the gods type side of the lore, but I do know a lot of people find a lot of entertainment in kind of the level of almost Greek mythology that you create inside those games. Alright, we're in solo, going to private. What was that?
For a little bit, I'm sorry. The YouTube videos, so that I have the start chopping up and having fun with, but in doing so it caused my audio to shut off.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So it was taking all your bandwidth, huh?
Took over my audio input. Or whatever.
That way I could download slightly faster. You know, it's got to do what it's got to do. Yeah. I'm guessing that Unwillingful is now watching reruns of someone he finds very attractive struggling with the star map based on what...
Well, I was going to say he doesn't find her attractive, he likes the sound of her voice. But I think it was both, maybe.
I'm pretty sure it was both.
Something to be said about a British accent. I was watching a comedian, they could speak, and you're like, this person sounds intelligent. They could be saying the most stupidest thing in the world, but...
They just sound so
a British person, if it was the difference between a British person telling you how to survive, like, let's say a flood. If the Brits were telling you how to survive a flood, you'd listen. If a redneck was telling you how to survive a flood, you'd listen to the Brit. Really wrong. Now, if it was surfing, like, get me like somebody from California, and like I totally listen.
I don't know. It's like, I think we were all raised listening to those like smooth British voiceovers for all of the like science type stuff as children, right? Because it's like, most of the time if you're watching a Discovery Channel or something like that, it's got a British accent on it. And so that probably helped to create an association in our generation, at least, with the British accent and intelligence.
Okay, sorry. Right?
Let's see.
See, what I think it is they know they lost the war. Do is make themselves and sound smart and make us think they're smart, and soon Britain's going to come back and say, y'all know we kind of still own you.
They're gonna specifically say y'all.
Maybe, I don't know.
you just sounded a little bit redneck.
Down so they can talk to America.
Oh,
Because
gotcha.
y'all, you know we
They're-
are redneck.
They're gonna use in their translation matrix
Y'all a lot.
just so they can
And dude.
y'all
Ooh, that'd be an
dudes
interesting dialect.
know that you're still part of
Southern drawl with surfer dialect.
Alright, private group. Going to solo.
Dude, y'all need to get what you're doing.
I know,
No, there
right?
you go. Have to throw in some northern in there.
Dude, y'all.
No?
No. Dude, y'all. I don't know. It's all good. I miss some of the California colloquialisms.
Your conversation saying dude. But you can't do that in any other dialect.
Dude, bro, wow, whoa. There's a lot
Just
of
dude,
a lot of
dude,
exclamations in
dude.
regular everyday communication in California.
Totally.
And it's the only place I lived where when it was time to talk about who you were going to vote for in the presidential elections, it mattered that the person was old, and that was really actually the only reason that you needed to vote for him. They're like, oh, he's old and he's kind of cute, old man. It's like, what? That's the choice. That's what's driving your choice in this campaign. And like, that was a perfectly reasonable explanation for why you would vote for one person over another. How old and cute they are.
Oh, we did get Obama.
Oh yeah, that was just the area I was in particular. They were swinging a little bit more for McCain at the time. I was in farm country though, because I was near Beale Air Force Base, and so you get the same thing out here where I am now. It's kind of rural. There's a tendency to prefer the more right-leaning, and the older candidates tend to get favored. Unfortunately, that's the same generation that's led us to where we are right now. But if we want to keep on going where we've already been, we can just keep it up. Let's see here. Whee! There we go. I don't know if I'm getting more efficient or paying less attention, but I think that run's done. Going back to private group.
Less attention.
Less
Because that makes me
attention.
feel better.
But yeah. Yeah. I don't know if you had a chance to watch the FAQ on the Hammerhead, but they went through, answered a bunch of questions, and I think they covered the one of the questions that I asked in the forums, specifically about whether or not the turrets would actually work. So that was my biggest concern, right? It's like,
I watched so many of those. I'm kind of not into watch. Like, they do a really good job of telling you to do.
Telling you what?
I love Star Citizen and telling to do, or what they want to be about. If you would have asked me 5 years ago, I would have been a, holier than thou white knight. Star Citizen will be the best game ever, and then like patch 1.0 came out and everybody was like, okay. It came out and everybody went, okay. Patch 3 came out and they went, see, look, you can do mining now. So, I mean, I love it, and I still hope, but I'm starting to get less and less 90.
Yeah, well, I haven't been there as long, so I saw that they weren't ready when the game was first all hyped. And so I waited this long to get on the bandwagon, specifically because I needed to know that it was going where I wanted it to and that it was going to get there before I was willing to invest. At this point, there are components of the game that I like better than Elite Dangerous. And since I spend a lot of time in Space Sims, and Elite is one that I spent most of my time in, I needed something that would give me an ability to actually play with people a little more immersively, right? Like, playing Orbis with everyone showed me what it could be like to play games in a PvE co-op world. Because I never really got to truly play games like WoW and stuff with other people at scale. Most of the MMOs in the world just haven't been able to fully capture my attention until the first VR MMO, right? The ability to interact with people that way, it was the first game I'd ever played where there were open comms across the world too. That was probably one of the biggest differentiators between every other game I'd ever played and Orbis.
Oh, right. Where you can just talk to any player that you come across?
Yeah, like, you know, it took my
weekends,
natural
like, oh
inability
my God,
to shut up, right? And turn it into my greatest asset. Whereas, like, normally I have a big problem in games because I'm so engaged with what I'm actually doing that I never actually chat with people. I hate having to type because I can talk perfectly while I do complex tasks, right? But if I have to go and do a /tell to people every time, it just made it so that I could never ever coordinate. And I didn't discover Discord until after playing Orbis for a while and finding that, you know, we needed to take the communication to the next level. So I just never really experienced real-time communication in video games outside of LAN parties, basically. And even in LAN parties, it was like shouting across the house at people, just like, you know, random fuck yous at people who killed you. And then, you know, coming back to your computer and finding your desktop's been changed to a bunch of dildos, you know. So I don't have to worry about the latter part, at least, when I play with folks generally now. I know it's LAN party.
Team viewer?
What?
Viewer that allowed people to like get onto your computer and do things. To be stupid.
That would be really, really fun. We want a more accurate simulation of the LAN party experience, so we're going to go ahead and leave our computer unlocked for our friends and have TeamViewer open. Just, no. Wasn't there a dating sim where, like, part of the story is that the character in game starts fucking with your computer, and to like actually beat the game, you have to go through and deal with files that actually get put in your file system?
I remember something like that, but yeah. I don't. I remember seeing something like that. You aren't just talking out your ass.
Yeah.
This time.
No, this time. Yeah. I prefer my dating sims to be cutesy though, so I haven't really looked into it beyond that. I know a lot of people were really into it, probably because of the fact that it wasn't like a normal dating sim. Let's see here. Oh, collecting stuff on the planet.
For this video, you just want me to go through everything that's on the YouTube and kind of cherry pick it?
Yeah, so basically what we should do is probably an Orbis focused one for Orbis recruiting and a Star Citizen focused, like a Star Citizen focused one for Star Citizen recruiting. Or you could do like a Space Sim kind of general one.
In Space Sim, because yes, there are some people that really, really like Elite, and there's some people that really, really like Star Citizen. But do we need that type of person?
No.
I mean,
I think we also want to highlight our like most entertaining fails. So I was picturing if we were gonna do kind of like a single point, it would be like we're about to do the thing, and then it's a sequence of us exploding ships and dying in PvP and all those little entertaining moments. But and basically the key thing that differentiates us is we're not married to one game. We play a lot of VR titles, and we're a little bit more casual about the way we play with each other, right? Those three things are the one thing.
It's always a good thing.
Right, like I hear all these stories about guilds and fellowships that like someone has to take a break for the weekend, so they get kicked out of the guild, right? And they'll have dedicated 6 months, a year or more of their lives to that guild, and the fact that they couldn't make one event was enough to get them the boot, right? Or I've known
the militaristic.
Yeah, I knew fellowships in Orbis that actually, if you had children or a job, they would not let you join. Like the amount of requirement for some of these groups just to participate with them is one of the big reasons that I opted to create the Super Friends, right? I don't want to have an oppressive environment that feels like I'm going to work every time I want to play with my friends. And we all kind of band together because we're really uber nerds is one thing, and we like to have that freedom to say, you know what, I'm on vacation, and I don't have to feel bad about being on vacation because I missed out on my games, right? Like when you start feeling like you're gonna get in trouble because you didn't play a game, that's kind of fucked up in my opinion.
Anything else, like back in the old days of WoW, there was the DKP system. You had a set number of points, and those points were used for getting loot, because back in the day, like you remember, personal loot wasn't a thing. If a boss dropped something, it was basically ninja looted or master looted, and then the master looter decided to give that to somebody. So DKP was a point system, and if you didn't make it, you didn't earn your points. That was did their things.
Yeah.
I was in a Mech Warrior guild when Mech Warrior Online came out. We had, I think I've told you, 400 something people. It was really, really hard to keep track of who was there and who wasn't.
Yeah.
TeamSpeak didn't tell us, so it was if you didn't sign on to the forums in 2 weeks, we gave you a warning. If you didn't sign, we sent an email directly to you. If you didn't sign in a week after that, put you on probation and 1 more week. So basically you had a month. But so many people ghosted, we just had to kick people.
Yeah.
One guy came in a day after his month, and he's like, why'd I get kicked out? It's like, well, did you look at your email? Well, yeah, I saw it. We're on probation. Well, I was talking in TeamSpeak, and we told you have to sign on to the forums. That was a thing.
Yeah. But I mean, like, that's just
that was a month, not
that's
a day.
too serious for me. That's all. Like, I get rules are rules, but that's why I had to create something where I knew that I could make the rules as lenient as I felt was appropriate. And
6 years ago, and that's with like 400 people. I mean, there's not 400 people in the Super Friends.
Well,
but
we do have like 400 people in the Discord, right? It's just the people who officially call themselves Super Friends is a different number, and we don't even all play the same games all the time, right? So that it's kind of split into factions, and actually the only Dukes and above have like official like requirements. Essentially, everyone else is just you have to pass the test of friendliness, so we know you're not a bag of dicks, and we're willing to play with you, right? But after that, as long as you don't turn into a bag of dicks, then you're fine.
Page and a peasant.
Yeah. Well, the peasant is before you've passed the test of friendliness. So that's okay. I want to join. Sure, you can join, and then if you pass the test of friendliness, then you can stay in and progress.
Page or a peasant before.
Page comes after peasant. So previously it had been initiate, and the initiates, or no, not initiate. It was an esquire, but it sounded too hoary, so I switched it. All right, private group, and switching over to solo.
This definitely sounds better than P on.
Yeah. And so, yeah, I mean, the big thing is we want to know that we're playing with people who we're comfortable playing with on a day-to-day basis. We play games a lot, right? So it's nice to know that you can be in a comfortable environment and be chill and not have someone down your throat about the fact that you weren't taking the game seriously enough. And so, in a lot of ways, that's the key there, you know.
That was one thing I did like about the MWO group is we were taking the game serious. I mean, we had divisions, we had upwards of 12 people. It was a set militaristic thing. Lieutenants were called lieutenants, and basically you were in charge of the 12 people below you. Division commander, you had 3 groups of those that you were in charge of, and it worked really, really well. The tournament started coming out, and people were like, "Oh, I don't want to have to train," and so it's like, okay, fine, then you don't have to do this. And people started stepping away because, well, why are they allowed to not have to do the rules when I have to do the rules? Like, because they don't care that much.
Yeah. Well, and that's like as you get large, you naturally have to deal with that kind of bifurcation of the different thought processes and play styles, right?
They didn't bifurcate fast enough. They didn't deal with it fast enough, and the group's down to like 12 people now.
Gotcha. Yeah, nice stuff. Like, and like we grew a lot faster than I expected in the first, 6 months that we were all playing together. I just kind of expected it to be like, all right, we got our motley crew of 5, but each time there was someone awesome that wanted to join us, there's no way I'm turning down hanging out with another awesome person. It's just, so I just said we had to figure out how to scale, and one of the first things we discovered was it didn't really make sense to artificially allow ourselves to be limited to only 25 people like Orbis has, right? So we multi-subgroups, and that did that there. And I think one of the big things that really pissed off some of the other groups is that we ended up having some of the best players in the game. Despite how chill we want to be, that doesn't mean that we can't also have some of the most dedicated players in the group. It's just clearly they participate in more of the events because of the fact that they're there more often and take it more seriously. But that doesn't mean I have to boot anyone. But that's also why, having a rank system is helpful, right? Because you can distinguish between those, like a peasant, page, or a squire don't really have a ton of expectations. The knights have a little bit more expectation, plus the ability to vote on everything that we decide to do as a group. And then the dukes, they essentially have admin level abilities to keep things on track, and the ability to run their own, sub factions. And so I think that big thing right now is us trying to figure out how, even if I, as the king of friendliness, need to take a freaking break, that folks will keep on being active and playing together, right? Like, so far, one of the bigger issues I've seen is that if I decide I'm not playing a game for a couple weeks, everyone else stops playing it. I'm like, you don't have to stop playing a game just because I stopped. I appreciate that you all want to play the game I'm playing, but
To be the captain.
What?
To be the captain.
Yeah, yeah, but I mean, like, I think it'd be nice to say, okay, cool, we've got a big group of people who still want to play Orbis, even though it's kind of gone to shit. My expectation was, like, JR Slims would have kept on running that, but I think the big issue was that everyone kind of at the same time realized that the amount of gameplay in that game had dried up. So
Which game?
Orbis.
When the new classes and whatever come out, maybe it'll be something.
Yeah, I feel like we'll all jump in again. Oh, the game crashed. We said Orbis game. You're like, I don't know what Orbis
Star Citizen all you want. Talk about Orbis. Nope.
Let's see here. Like, the fact is that, like, Star Citizen for me is more stable than Orbis, which is really saying something.
I liked Orbis so much during the free play weekend that I bought it because the free play weekend was over. And I even had to go into a little bit of debt for that, which is bad, I know, but whatever.
Gotcha.
Played it solidly and then I haven't picked it back. I think I burned myself out.
Yeah, I played it
My
a
arrow got
lot.
tired because I started playing a warrior.
I put over 500 hours in that game. So, it's definitely a good game, but it's been progressively getting worse over time because they haven't been keeping up with it. Like, they're working on the new game, but they're leaving these servers up, and the servers are just kind of degrading over time and not being dealt with. And so I go in with even newly up. What?
Like, it needs to, the servers need to kind of just reset every once in a while.
And they've been patching it, and whenever there's performance implications with their patches, they don't care because they're like, whatever, we're going to replace it all in a bit anyways, right? And so if you're going to think that way, you're better off just saying, let's focus on clearing out a couple of the key bugs and getting the performance where it needs to be, and let's not worry about some of the other pieces since they will get replaced. And I think we could suck it up and deal with that. My concern is you have a bunch of people still buying the game and their experience is just really shite because of the fact that you've got them on servers that really shouldn't have anything going on. Here. Trying to get this freaking... Oh, what time is it? Man. Alright, I can only do a couple more runs before I gotta take a break here. But yeah, no, I think that usually what ended up happening when we were playing daily on Orbis was we had 2 groups of 5 that played almost daily, and then you had another 5 individuals worth of people that were from the mix of the other 30 people in the group, right? And they would generally either fill in anyone who was missing from the other group or create their third group of 5 people that was playing at the same time. And then when we hit the raid portion of things and everything was in flux and there were a lot of problems around that time, and it just started frustrating everyone. And the people who mostly were focused on the kind of casual storyline type elements didn't really get as much from the game anymore, right? Like, if you just like killing mobs and exploring places, once you've explored the whole game, there's nowhere else to go. Like, it's... yeah. That contributes to the problems, in my opinion. Let's see here. But having a whole kind of new storyline and world is going to really help revitalize that. But I hope that they actually pay attention to the performance, right? Like, that's my biggest concern with it. I shouldn't have this beast of a computer struggling for such terrible graphics in a video game. Right? Like, I really shouldn't. And the fact that I can play Elite Dangerous and Star Citizen, and I can play, you know, all these beautiful games in VR, but I'm unable to get any kind of decent frame rate in Orbis is my personal biggest frustration with it. But a lot of the reason I like to play games is like the co-op experience is great, but I also love experiencing beautiful environments. You know, that's why VR is so nice. So the part that Orbis capitalizes on really well is the experience of hanging out with people, right? It does it a lot better than any other game that I had played in VR. I had never really gotten into any of the pure social platforms. I tried them, but because of the fact that they didn't have any game elements, they bored me really quickly, right? Like, I can't remember that really popular, like, VR chat, I think is what it's called. Right? Like,
the VR chat for a little bit, and it's just like, you can't really play much.
There's no depth, right? The frame rate is having a little trouble. I'm not on a laptop. Yeah, I'm still farming the mats. No, my Wi-Fi is disabled, but I probably need to restart the machine in general. The game crashed a little bit ago, and it's just it's not running up to snuff right now. I may have to call it on the stream. I think I've got I've only got like 18% left on the hull on this guy here. And so I'll be switching to the other one in my ship shortly here. In fact, let's see here. Maybe I can get up top. Let's see. And up. Oh, come on. Nope. Can't get there. Alright, cool. Are you sending me a picture of that streamer in Discord? I know that's what you're gonna do. Alright, let's just crash. Woo! There's 7%, 6%. Come on, you can roll harder. Have faith in yourself, Dune Buggy of Doom. Nothing like blowing up in an SRV. Okay, let's use the bug killer as a ramp. I think that'll be fun. Let's see here. Yeah! Woo! I knew I was gonna blow up, but it still startled me a little bit. There go little pieces of my ship. Alright. Exit to desktop. Yes. Oh. Well, thanks for hanging out. Appreciate it. I'll still be in Discord. I'm just going to stop streaming for a little bit here. Thanks everyone who watched. Hope to see you soon.